The Chicago Bulls are looking to move Nikola. Is it Nikola or Nikola? I think it's Nikola with him. Nikola Vucevic this offseason. The Chicago Bulls are, again, expected to explore trading the veteran center in the offseason, according to Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. He's heading into the final year of the 3-year extension he had signed. He has $21.48 million left in this deal, and the Bulls were reportedly close to trading the center to the Golden State Warriors at the deadline. They could not reach a final agreement on the deal. As an expiring contract, it's expected Vucevic could be easier to trade this offseason or even ahead of the 2026 trade deadline during the season. If Chicago finally trades Vucevic, it's expected that veteran backup center Zach Collins would be installed as the new center. The Bulls may look for a big man in this year's NBA draft. Now, we put together some teams that could be interested in Vooch. From the Nuggets to the Clippers to the Hawks to the Raptors and the Mavericks. Let's get right into today's video. And if I didn't talk about a team that you think could have done it, let me hear your thoughts and why. So with that being said, I do think let's just start. I think the first one we could start is, which one do I find like as a viable deal for Nikola Vucevic? So these are going to be the teams that I put together. We said them earlier: the Denver Nuggets, the Bulls and Clippers, the Bulls and Hawks, the Bulls and Raptors, the Bulls and Mavericks. So like I said, if you found one that you want, let's just start with Denver. Alrighty, and with the Denver Nuggets, the deal you see on the screen: Zeke Nnaji, Dario Saric, Russell Westbrook, Hunter Tyson, and Jalen Pickett for Nikola Vucevic. You could maybe expand this into a 3-team trade if the Bulls are not interested in all those players. Obviously, there isn't, I think personally, the most interesting player there is Hunter Tyson and Jalen Pickett. You get two young guys on really cheap deals. Maybe you could see Zeke Nnaji as a reclamation project, with the aforementioned Zach Collins being alluded to as the future starting center once they move off of Nikola Vucevic. So have him back up Zeke, and then Dario, you could keep him around, cut him, trade him. I think this one isn't bad. It's just easy. So yeah. I think Denver would love this though. Now, if we want to go on Denver's, they get a 6-man, a guy who can play alongside Jokic, a guy who can relieve Jokic. They literally would have the perfect backup for Jokic and a 6-man replacement that they've needed. Now we go over to the Clippers, and the Clippers would get as well. A lot of these deals are to make Nikola Vucevic the best 6-man in the league, and that would be him coming in to either play alongside Ivica Zubac or to relieve Zubac as a floor spacing big who can rebound. You give up Bogdanovic, Drew Eubanks, and Kobe Brown. I'm pretty sure Bogdan's deal is partially guaranteed. Drew Eubanks is a backup center who will be on an expiring contract, and it's only like 4.6 or whatever. And Kobe Brown is the trade sweetener, former first-round pick. You'll have him under control for his 3rd and 4th season. And if you really like him, you'll have his restricted free agency, which would then allow you to re-sign him over the cap if that were to happen. But for the Bulls, you get a young guy and two decent players that you could probably flip one or cut one for salary flexibility. And the Clippers get themselves a front court partner for Zubac that could either be a starter or it could be a green light machine off the bench to help the second unit score and be a breather for Zubac. I actually think that one's like nice. Now, Atlanta. Terrence Mann is making like $15 million. He averaged like 9 points, 45% from the field, and like 38% from three for them. Looked awesome as a Swiss Army knife gadget type player, but is he really worth that much? And if you put in Kobe Buffkin, who's always been hurt. So right here, you see it. Clint Capella is going to be moved off of. Onyeka Okongwu is the starter. Vooch could either, in certain games, start alongside him, but would be an incredible backup, which would give you a yin-yang. Onyeka Okongwu would be the, defensive rebounding guy, and which would be awesome because Onyeka would be like your defensive specialist, start the game, everything. But if you needed some help on offense, Vooch can come in alongside Richache. Recesche. I don't know why I'm struggling with that. Zachary Recesche and not Brandon, but Mr. Nikola Vucevic, Zachary Recesche, Jalen Johnson, Mr. Trey Young, and Dyson Daniels. Plus, if you wanted Onyeka Okongwu, Zachary Recesche, Jalen Johnson, or once Jalen Johnson is, I guess, off the floor or still recovering from injury, he'll probably be but Dyson a lot of the time, and Trey. So there's so many different formulas you could do with that team. I really like it. And from the Bull standpoint, Terrence Mann isn't bad. It's just a little bit of an overpay. You could probably flip him down the road. And you get a young guy in Kobe Buffkin that, like, he has potentials. He has gobs of potential. He's literally just had season-ending injuries every single year of his career. So Jakob Poeltl will have a player option after this season for the 26-27 season. I think he's going to take it because he makes 19.5. And I don't know if anyone's going to pay him that. He's still good. Like, he's a solid top 15 center. And in this scenario, they take Vooch because he's going to help the Raptors. The Raptors trade Poeltl because he wants, I guess, to be traded if it's not a winning situation. But my whole thought process is that they trade him because he won't fit this roster if Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Emmanuel Quickly all go together, as there'll be too much lack of spacing. So they'll need a big man to start, like Mr. Vooch. Julian Phillips helps the deal, like, basically be salary matched, so neither team is like taking on money or losing money. And Ochai will be an expiring deal that probably the Raptors can't afford. So my thoughts is they'll probably want to, move off of him for some, which is better than nothing. And then, of course, there's been the rumor that they want to move off of Daniel Gafford, and my assumption is that if they do this deal, it's because Derek Lively's healthy. They're going to have to pay Derek Lively. Vooch, similar to what we said with Onyeka Okongwu, could be a yin-yang off the bench or play alongside Derek Lively as a floor spacing, rebounding, passing big, kind of like the offensive version, and then Derek's the defensive guy. So by doing that, you have both. And then for the Bulls, you get Jaden Hardy, who was a guy who was like a 5-star recruit. Used to have first-round grade, who slipped to the second. This is probably one of my favorite. I think my favorite ones so far, the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Mavericks, where he's a guy that if this does happen, and if they do actually fully use him as a six-man, he's going to win six-man of the year. And last year, I said the Golden State deal was maybe, they got a bargain for Mr. Jimmy Butler, so I'm not mad there. But I was like, if the Jimmy price was too expensive, you should go after Vooch. And really, I think Vooch is a guy who can help any roster. I think he's better as a sixth man, a guy who's going to come in, or a spot starter, kind of a overglorified, a way better Bobby Portis. Like what Bobby Portis does, but everything better. And that's how I envision his role here, is just being this green light off the bench that Jason Kidd's like, go in, put up shots, grab rebounds, and pass the ball. We don't care about defense when you're on the floor.